As per reports, Chinese scientists have pushed technology limits to create a hypersonic missile which is capable of withstanding extreme heat.
China has launched a hypersonic missile that moves at mind-blowing speed. And the worst part? It's almost impossible to stop. This isn't just a test, it's a game changer in modern warfare. And now, national leaders are rushing to figure out how to respond before it's too late. But is this weapon really capable of leveling an entire country in just 30 seconds? Let's find out. The beginning of a new era. In the past few decades, one of the most notable shifts in global power has been the advancement of China's military reach and influence. Once focused mainly on defending its own borders, China's defense forces have grown rapidly, with major investments in long-range strike platforms and advanced deterrence capabilities. These developments reflect a broad strategy to ensure that Beijing can influence events far beyond its immediate region and protect its interests against rivals around the world. Across land, sea, and sky, China's missile and defense forces have undergone rapid change in recent years, transforming from a regional deterrent into a global military power with far-reaching strike and defensive systems. At the center of this transformation is the People's Liberation Army Rocket Force, PLARF, which now oversees thousands of ballistic and cruise missiles with a wide range of capabilities. One of the most important aspects of this evolution is the emphasis on long-range capabilities. These allow China to reach targets tens of thousands of kilometers away if needed, creating a powerful deterrent effect and strengthening its ability to project power. At the same time, they have worked to improve detection and tracking systems, giving it better situational awareness and response options. Today, we're going to be looking at 8 of the most advanced weapons that China has created. Number 8. The PL-15 missile. The PL-15 is a long-range air-to-air missile made in China. It is one of the most advanced missiles China uses on its newest fighter jets, such as the J-20. The design work on the PL-15 started many years ago, and it began to enter service with the Chinese Air Force around the mid-2010s. Unlike older Chinese missiles, this weapon can reach very far targets and still keep enough energy to hit them. One of the big reasons the PL-15 is so talked about is its dual-pulse rocket engine. Most missiles burn all their fuel quickly after launch and lose speed later in flight, making them easier to escape from. The engine of the PL-15 has 2 stages, so it can burn the second part of its fuel near the end of its flight. This second burn gives it more speed and power right before it reaches the target. The missile can go faster than Mach 5, which is more than 5 times the speed of sound. The guidance system is another key feature. The PL-15 uses an AESA active radar seeker in its nose. This kind of radar is advanced because it sends out many signals at once and can track tricky or low observable targets. The missile also has systems that let it receive updates in flight from the aircraft that launched it or from other platforms. This keeps the missile on target, even if the enemy tries to block its radar or jam its signals. The estimated range for the PL-15 used by China's Air Force is about 200 to 300 kilometers, depending on how it is launched and from what altitude. That means a Chinese fighter can fire the missile at an enemy aircraft before it can even see the target visually. Because of this, the PL-15 can make a huge area where an enemy plane cannot safely fly without risk of being shot. Western militaries have taken notice of the missile's long reach and strong guidance. Its performance has pushed others, including the United States, to work on new missiles with longer range and better sensors. Some of these new Western designs aim to match or beat the distance and precision of the PL-15. In aerial combat, weapons like this change how battles are fought. Instead of close dogfights, the fight can start far apart, with the side that hits first at long range holding a big advantage. Number 7. The PL-17 missile. One of China's most powerful long-range air-to-air missiles and has been developed for the People's Liberation Army Air Force. The PL-17 was first seen being tested on Chinese fighter jets around 2016, though it took several years before it entered formal service. This missile is much bigger than most air-to-air weapons, stretching to nearly 6 meters in length. That size gives it a huge amount of fuel and makes it capable of flying far out ahead of the launching aircraft. Because of its length and weight, the PL-17 cannot fit inside the hidden weapon bays of stealth fighters like the Chengdu J-20. Instead, it must be carried on the outside of some Chinese combat jets, such as the Shenyang J-16, which has been the main test and launch platform. Its large size also means it is not meant to chase fast, highly agile fighter jets in close-in combat. Instead, China designed this missile to destroy the high-value support aircraft that armies rely on in a war. These include airborne early warning and control planes, AWACS that watch the battlefield from high altitudes, and aerial refueling tankers that keep fighters flying long missions by refilling their fuel tanks in midair. The PL-17 uses a dual-pulse solid rocket motor, which gives it 2 bursts of power during flight, so it can keep speed over very long distances. Reports suggest it can travel between 300 kilometers and 500 kilometers, with around 400 kilometers, often quoted as a typical effective range under ideal conditions. This kind of reach is far beyond most traditional air-to-air missiles and puts support aircraft at risk even when they are hundreds of kilometers away from enemy fighters. To find and hit targets at such distances, the missile uses advanced guidance. During most of its flight, it may rely on inertial navigation, satellite signals, and data link information from the launch aircraft or other platforms. In the final phase near the target, it switches on its seeker, which includes active radar and sometimes passive sensors, allowing it to locate large aircraft on its own. This combination helps it stay on course to reach heavy and slow aerial assets, even if they try to jam it. Because the PL-17 focuses on destroying the command and support systems of an enemy force, rather than fighting nimble fighters, it changes how air combat works. If tankers and AWACS are at risk from hundreds of kilometers away, aircraft that depend on them lose fuel and situational data, making them far less effective in a fight. Number 6. The YJ-21 Hypersonic Anti-Ship Ballistic Missile. When China revealed a new hypersonic anti-ship missile, it surprised many military experts around the world. This weapon is called the YJ-21, and it is very different from older missiles. The YJ-21 is a type of hypersonic anti-ship ballistic missile, which means it follows a high arc and enters the target area at extremely high speed. It first appeared publicly in 2022, when China's Navy showed it being tested from a large destroyer. The missile itself is long and powerful, measuring more than 8 meters in length and carrying a conventional warhead designed to destroy large vessels. It is launched from the Type 055 destroyer, using the ship's vertical launch system, and it has also been shown in versions that can be carried under long-range bombers. This multi-platform design gives China choices in how it deploys the weapon in different combat situations. What sets the YJ-21 apart is its hypersonic speed. During most of its flight, it can travel at around Mach 6, which is 6 times the speed of sound. In the final phase of its path toward a target, the missile is believed to be capable of accelerating up to Mach 10. At these speeds, traditional shipboard missile defenses have very little time to detect, track, and intercept it before it reaches a ship. This speed advantage makes it very hard for most naval defenses to stop the missile once it is fired. The long flight range of the YJ-21 also matters. Reports suggest that the missile can travel about 1,500 kilometers, depending on conditions, meaning it can strike targets very far from where it was launched. This range puts large warships at risk well beyond the horizon, and gives commanders more space to strike without having to move too close to enemy lines. Part of how the missile finds its target involves advanced guidance systems that use inertial navigation and possibly satellite navigation to stay on course before using onboard seekers. This combination helps the weapon maintain high accuracy over long distances against moving targets like large ships. Its speed, range, and power make it a formidable threat to large naval groups, especially those centered on aircraft carriers, which rely on layers of defense but may struggle to react quickly enough against a hypersonic threat. Number 5. The DF-41 Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. When it comes to weapons that can change the balance between great powers, few are as significant as the DF-41 ICBM, developed by China. This weapon is part of China's strategic nuclear forces and is designed to strike targets at massive distances. The DF-41 is a long-range intercontinental ballistic missile launched by the People's Liberation Army Rocket Force, and it represents one of the most capable missiles anywhere. The missile itself is very large, around 20 to 22 meters long, and weighs about 80 tons at launch. It is powered by 3 stages of solid fuel, which allows it to sit ready to fire for long periods without needing to be refueled before launch. Because solid fuel is stable and quick to start, this missile can be launched with little warning. One of the most striking facts about the DF-41 is its range. Public estimates say it can fly at least 12,000 to 15,000 kilometers before reaching its target. That means if launched from deep inside China, it could reach nearly any city in North America, Europe, or Africa. This kind of outrageous reach puts the whole of those continents within its range. The weapon travels extremely fast, During the part of its flight when it is falling back into the atmosphere toward a target, the missile's re-entry vehicles can move at speeds estimated at around Mach 25, which is more than 30,000 kilometers per hour. At this speed, it is traveling far faster than almost all missile defenses can respond. Another key feature is its warhead capability. The DF-41 is built to carry multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, often called MIRVs. Some public reports suggest it could carry up to 10 nuclear warheads, each able to hit a different target. In practice, analysts say it might carry fewer warheads with extra equipment, such as decoys, to make defense harder. These warheads can be small nuclear weapons that separate from the missile and fall on separate targets hundreds of kilometers apart. Most of its launchers are mounted on large Road Mobile Transporter Erector Launchers, TELs, and there may also be versions that can launch from silos or rail systems. This mobility makes it difficult for observers to know exactly where launchers are located. To guide itself, the DF-41 uses an inertial navigation system that may be updated with satellite signals, like China's Beidou system. Sources estimate its accuracy at around 100 to 500 meters from the target point of impact. Number 4. The DF-17 missile. In recent years, China has introduced a new class of fast-moving missiles that behave very differently from older weapons. One of the most talked about is the DF-17, a medium-range missile that carries a hypersonic glide vehicle, HGV, instead of a normal warhead. The HGV is called the DF-ZF, and it gives the DF-17 unique flight abilities that set it apart from traditional ballistic missiles. The DF-17 began development in the 2010s, and China first displayed it publicly in 2019 during a large military parade. It entered service with the People's Liberation Army Rocket Force soon after, making it one of the first operational hypersonic boost glide missile systems in active use anywhere. At its core, the missile combines a solid-fuel rocket booster with an unpowered glide vehicle. The booster, thought to be based on the older DF-16 missile's rocket design, lifts the HGV high into the upper atmosphere. Once the DF-ZF separates from the booster, it travels forward at very high speeds while gliding through the upper layers of air rather than falling in a predictable arc. This allows the weapon to move fast and to change direction in flight. Because of this flight pattern, radar and missile shields have far less time to respond than they would against ordinary ballistic missiles. Traditional defenses are built around tracking weapons that follow a set curved path, so when a weapon can maneuver unpredictably and stay at lower altitudes, it becomes much harder to spot and intercept. The missile's range is believed to be between about 1,800 and 2,500 kilometers, depending on conditions and payload. That means it can strike well beyond China's immediate borders and reach key military targets in nearby regions, if needed. This range, paired with high speed and the ability to alter its path, gives the DF-17 an edge in reaching defended targets faster than many missile shields can track. The HGV itself may carry either conventional explosives or nuclear payloads, giving it flexibility for different missions. In testing, United States officials have described the missile's glide vehicle as capable of performing extreme maneuvers and evasive actions that complicate interception. Mounted on road mobile launchers, the DF-17 can be moved around and fired from different locations, adding a layer of tactical flexibility. Number 3. The HQ-19 Missile Defense Interceptor. In modern warfare, having strong defenses matters just as much as having strong weapons. One of China's newest defensive systems is called the HQ-19 Missile Defense Interceptor. This weapon is part of China's effort to stop incoming ballistic missiles and other high-speed threats before they reach their targets. Experts often compare it with the United States THAAD system because both are designed to shoot down ballistic missiles high above the ground, even outside the atmosphere. The HQ-19 was developed as part of China's long-term missile defense programs that began in the late 1990s. It grew out of the older HQ-9 surface-to-air missile family, but was upgraded with special technology to focus on long-range ballistic and space-based threats. Over many years of testing, it was shown able to intercept missiles at very high altitudes and with high closing speeds. The system was publicly shown at the 2024 Zhuhai Air Show, but it had already been in limited service. Unlike missiles that simply explode near a target, the HQ-19 uses a kinetic kill vehicle, which means it destroys incoming warheads by hitting them directly at great speed. The interceptor missile is launched from a mobile 8x8 heavy truck that can carry 6 missiles. This mobility lets the launcher move fast and change position as needed for defense. The missile has a two-stage solid rocket motor and can make powerful maneuvers during flight, helping it reach and strike its target even if that target is moving fast. A key part of the HQ-19 system is its radar and sensor network. The system uses advanced phased array radar with a very long detection range, reported at up to 4,000 kilometers, to track enemy missiles far before they enter their final descent. This early detection gives the defense network more time to calculate an intercept and launch missiles to stop the threat. The radar is connected to command vehicles that process information and guide the interceptors toward enemy warheads. The HQ-19 is designed to protect against medium-range and longer-range ballistic missiles. It can engage targets during their mid-course phase, when warheads are in space, and high-altitude terminal phase, making it useful against longer-range threats like intermediate-range missiles, and even some hypersonic glide vehicles. Its guidance system combines active radar and infrared sensors to identify real warheads and ignore decoys. Because it can operate both inside and above Earth's atmosphere, the HQ-19 gives China a higher layer of protection that supports other missile defense systems. This layered approach can help prevent enemy missiles from reaching important cities, military bases, or strategic sites by destroying them far from the ground. Number 2. The CJ-100 cruise missile. For many years, most cruise missiles were built to fly low and strike with accuracy, but they usually moved at subsonic speed. Weapons like the American Tomahawk are well known for their precision, yet they travel slower than the speed of sound. This gives modern radar systems time to detect them and allows air defense crews a chance to respond. China's CJ-100, also known as the Changjian 100, represents a different approach to long-range strike weapons. It joins cruise missile precision with far greater speed. The missile was first revealed publicly during China's 2019 National Day military parade in Beijing. It is believed to be a long-range land attack cruise missile designed for high-value and well-protected targets. Unlike traditional cruise missiles that cruise at subsonic speeds, reports indicate that the CJ-100 can reach speeds above Mach 3 during flight. That means it travels at more than 3 times the speed of sound, greatly shortening the time between launch and impact. Speed alone is not its only advantage. The CJ-100 is designed to fly at carefully chosen altitudes, sometimes skimming close to the ground or sea surface. This low flight path helps reduce the distance at which enemy radar can detect it. When combined with supersonic velocity, the window for interception becomes much smaller. Air defense systems must detect, track, calculate, and launch interceptors within a very limited time frame. Open sources suggest the CJ-100 may have a range of around 2,000 kilometers, depending on configuration. This long reach allows it to strike deep targets without requiring the launch platform to move too close to defended areas. It is believed to use advanced guidance systems, possibly including satellite navigation and terrain matching technology, to maintain accuracy over long distances. The missile is thought to be capable of carrying conventional warheads designed to damage reinforced structures, command facilities, and large naval vessels. Its high speed increases the kinetic energy at impact, adding to its destructive effect even before the warhead detonates. Because it moves quickly and can maneuver during flight, traditional point defense systems and anti-aircraft guns have less opportunity to engage it effectively. Number 1. The JL-3 SLBM. Some of the most powerful weapons in the world are never seen in public and rarely leave the ocean's depths. The JL there is one of them. It is China's newest submarine-launched ballistic missile, SLBM, and represents the third generation of sea-based nuclear missiles developed by the country. The JL-3 is expected to arm China's future Type 096 nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, which are being built to strengthen the nation's sea-based nuclear force. The most important feature of the JL-3 is its long reach. Public estimates suggest the missile can travel more than 12,000 kilometers, and some reports place the range even higher, depending on payload. Earlier, Chinese submarine missiles, such as the JL-2, had shorter range and required submarines to sail far into the Pacific Ocean to hold distant targets at risk. Operating in those open waters increased the chance of being tracked by advanced anti-submarine forces. With the extended distance of the JL-3, launch submarines may remain closer to Chinese-controlled waters, including areas like the South China Sea. These regions can be heavily patrolled and protected by Chinese naval and air forces. Staying nearer to home waters can lower the risk of detection and improve survivability. This shift changes strategic calculations because it reduces the need for submarines to cross areas monitored by rival navies. Like other modern ballistic missiles, the JL-3 is believed to use solid fuel, which allows it to be stored safely and launched quickly when needed. After being fired from a submerged submarine, the missile rises from the water, ignites its rocket stages, and travels into space before releasing its warheads toward designated targets. Open sources suggest it may be capable of carrying multiple warheads, which can increase its effectiveness against defended targets. The main purpose of the JL-3 is to strengthen China's second strike capability. This means that even if land-based missile forces were attacked, submarines hidden underwater could still respond. Ballistic missile submarines are difficult to detect when operating quietly in deep waters, making them a central part of nuclear deterrence strategy. The JL-3 plays a major role in China's evolving strategic forces and reflects how advances in missile technology continue to reshape global military balance. So, what other modernized weapon do you think China has included in its military defense? Let us know your views in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to this channel. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.